It's the 154th episode. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, on today's episode, this is where the rubber meets the road, everybody. Right here. If you take what we talk about today and you put this into your daily life, this is where you will find progress. It's all about this one topic right here. This one thing.
On Just These Guys, we got Pastor Mike on the mic.
And we got Dr. Parker in the house.
And we're about to hit you with some more wisdom about mental toughness.
Mental toughness, week 2. And I got to say, I want to share right out of the gate where I think I'm taking life by the you-know-whats.
Uh-oh.
And making some progress. And this comes straight from my beautiful bride. The other day, I was standing at our brand new Whirlpool dishwasher.
Woo!
We had the same. Now, I got to give a shout out to Kenmore. Kenmore dishwashers out of the
Mr. Moore.
Out of the Sears and Roebuck magazine catalog.
Thank you, Ken.
We had that thing for it would be since 2004. 2005, that's a long time for a dishwasher. I asked him when we just bought our brand new Whirlpool dishwasher, I said, how long is this thing going to last? Is it going to last as long as the old Kenmore? And the guy just started laughing because I had told him.
Yeah.
He said, no, they kind of build them to be disposable anymore. And I was like, great. So I'm standing there at the Whirlpool dishwasher. And Dawn is on the other side of the counter because that's where her office is. She works from home. She's sitting there. She's super. You talk about discipline. This woman is disciplined. She will get up in the morning. She will go in. I will either have a cup of coffee beside her bed for her, or she'll get up. She'll go get her coffee. She'll sit down. She will not move for a lot of times. She'll work a solid 10-hour day.
Wow.
It's super rare that she works 8. And she does like 3 different people's jobs. And it's amazing how just disciplined she is.
Dishwasher and cook.
Yeah. I tried to work from home one time. We were living in Indianapolis, and I tried to work from home. I was doing everything but working. I was fishing. Because we had a pond right out the back of our apartment complex. And I'm pretty soon, it's 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm and, not making sales calls, not on the horn, trying to keep the company afloat.
Right.
I'm out there just doing whatever, watching TV, just not my gig.
Right.
And so
Mike don't work from home.
Yeah, no, Dawn, super, super disciplined. So I'm standing there and I'm emptying the dishwasher, and I've got 2 cups in my hands now, and these are the travel mugs.
Sure.
One of them is a Yeti. One of them is a knockoff Mountain something or other, Walmart brand.
Right.
And I can tell that Dawn is looking at me, but it hasn't really registered that she's not just looking at me, but she's studying me. And I set them on the counter, and then I reach in, and it's these new ones that got these fancy slide-out trays that you can put lids and spoons and all that stuff. You don't put them down in a basket anymore. Uh-huh. You put them on this deal. It's flat. It's nice it's up high. It's super nice.
I'm going to have to come over and look at this.
Yeah, exactly. And so I pull out 2 lids, I look at them, and I put them on the cups. And then I recognized, I've got them switched. So I pulled them back off, and pulled them off, switched them, put them on, not thinking any really, much about it. She starts giving me the slow clap. And she has this look on her face like she just watched a 5-year-old do a backflip or something. And I said, what? She said, I am so proud of you.
Oh.
She says this, you're growing. All because I put the correct lid on the correct cup. Good grief, it doesn't take much to please her, but I kind of feel good about it.
You're getting mentally tough.
Yeah, I'm getting mentally tough. and in her mind, very disciplined. Finally, at 58 years of age, emptying the dishwasher the way it's supposed to be done.
Well, today we've got 2 more ideas about being mentally tough. Last week we talked about the most important thing to become mentally tough is to have a goal, know what you want. Because you always hear when somebody fails at something, the coach will say, "Well, you didn't want it enough," or they wanted it more than you wanted it, or you got to want it more than they want it. And want what?
A lot of times that's the halftime.
And the halftime speech. That's what you're wanting the halftime.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, let's get this over with so we can go to halftime. Yeah. But yeah, you're wanting to win the game. You're wanting to go to state. But that's a goal. And so if you're going to be mentally tough, you got to first decide what it is you're trying to achieve. And once you visualize what it is you want, then motivation starts rising up to get it. And that's the want to. Yeah. You got to want to. And if I for me to have to want to, I got to know what I want. So today we're adding a couple of layers to this now. And the first one, which leads to the second one, is no excuses.
Yeah. If you're making a bunch of excuses, which I've been pretty dang good at making excuses for stuff over the years. That's huge. Because that's the open door to just continue to stay where you're at.
Well, and exactly, because this is a little military therapy for you here today. Why are you making an excuse? Because you just quit. You quit or you failed, and so now you're coming up with an excuse as to why you quit or why you failed. I could have done the run, but my legs started hurting, and I knew I had to back off, or I might have blown out a knee or something. So but once we make the excuse as to why we quit, we then take away any opportunity for us to make any change. Because the excuse is basically saying it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, in our minds, we justify it not as an excuse, but as a reason.
And then that's when we start playing the mental semantics. Well, I'm not excusing anything. I'm just trying to explain why.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares?
Yeah.
How does that help? And so the ownership, owning it comes after you give up making excuses. I quit. That's the truth. I quit, and to not come in here with an excuse at this moment, I have to remain with the fact that I quit. And that can be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It hurts to think I quit. It hurts to think I failed.
And one of the hardest things to do is to be honest with yourself.
This is all we're talking to.
Yeah. Because if you're not honest with yourself, you won't be honest with anybody else.
Why do you care why I quit? I couldn't make it, but that was because of blah, blah, blah. Well, once you start making those excuses to save your face in front of other people, what you're doing is you're excusing yourself from the failure. And since the failure wasn't your fault because of this excuse, then you've just set yourself up to fail again, because there's no need to change anything if it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, that's good.
So
gotta own it.
When you own it, and this is the part that it's hard for people to understand and get to go through that pain of owning their own failure. I was a bad husband, period. No excuse as to why I was a bad husband. I was a bad husband. I was not a good employee. I got fired because I was not a good employee, period.
Yeah. How many people say that?
You never hear that. Never.
That's like a unicorn.
Hey, did you used to work over there? Yeah, but they had this thing going on, and then they decided to lay a couple people off, and I was, first in, first out, or last in, first out, something like that. So yeah, they had to let me go, and they didn't have anything to do with you being late to work every day.
Sure.
No, they didn't care about that. They told me it was okay, But
But how many people out there have gone through divorce and are willing to say, I was just a terrible husband,
yeah,
or I was a terrible wife, I was a terrible spouse.
I was a terrible partner. I was a terrible spouse. I was, focused on doing this or that, or
Then they take their dysfunction right into the next relationship.
well, once they make those excuses as to why they failed, now they're not going to change anything. They're going to step into a new situation doing the same thing over and over again. You heard that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Exactly.
So when you're making excuses, you're robbing yourself the opportunity to actually own the failure, own the quitting. And that's really important. This is because once you recognize, once you accept that I'm the one who quit, then you're free.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're the one who's responsible for your failure, then you can change it.
Yep.
And this was a lesson I learned the hard way when, shared before when I got out of high school. I went into college. I didn't know why I was going to college. I didn't want any particular career. That's what you're supposed to do. So I went to college, and once I got in there, and it was hard, and I had jobs out there where I could make, good money, working on the farms and stuff. Hey, man, they pay me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wanted money. I wanted Friday night cruising the drag. I wanted, those things. And so I went to work and skipped school. And then once you start skipping school, it's hard to stop skipping school. And then you don't go to take the tests. And pretty soon you got an F or a W or an I. And pretty soon the dean is ripping the registration form out of your hand in line in front of all your friends and telling you can't come to college anymore.
Yeah.
So when I went into the military and I got into boot camp, within the first week or two, I injured myself, and it hurt. Marching hurt, running hurt, sitting hurt.
Mm.
But I made no excuse, and I did not allow myself to quit. I just, because I already saw what quitting did for me.
Sure.
Quitting on myself, quitting going to school landed me back in, a highly physically labor-intensive job out on the farms in the 110-degree sun
Mm-hmm.
every day. And that was really a wake-up call. And I was fortunate enough to able to feel the guilt and the shame of having quit on myself and quit on my family and quit on college and was a failure. 1.14 GPA. That's failure.
Dude, I'm feeling you. You're telling my story.
And so when I joined the military and I injured myself, I didn't tell anybody. Well, there's one guy who found out because one of the things that happened during all of this is I got some pretty good shin splints. I don't know if you've ever had those.
Oh, yeah.
And so walking and running with shin splints is extreme pain.
Yeah.
And this guy saw me running and crying. He's standing, running next to me, and he's looking at me, and I'm just running, tears going down my face. And he's like, dude, what is it? And I said, well, my shins are really killing me. And he said, those are shin splints. And he said, I ran track in high school. What you do when you go to bed at night is you lay there and you curl your toes as tight as you can and go to sleep. And sure enough, that helped. And so the next day I'm feeling a little bit better. And okay, I can run. And I start to run. Snap. Shin splints are back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I went through boot camp. I had a lot of pain. But instead of quitting, which is what I did with college, I just owned it. I'm now in pain because I did not prepare for boot camp. I didn't go out and start running every day to get in shape for boot camp. So there is no excuse for why I'm hurting right now. I am hurting because I didn't prepare for this. So suffer.
Yep.
I mean, what other choice do you have? You can't give yourself those other choices. Once you start making excuses, you give yourself other choices that you can now take. There's no excuse. I effed up. I didn't prepare for boot camp. So this is going to be really, really hard. Deal with it.
Yep. And that's the only direction that will
But
take you to being mentally tough.
Well, and once you say that, once you accept it, you then get control over it.
Mm.
You know, if I'm here because of my responsibility, if I'm here because I quit before, now I'm not going to quit again. Now I have control over where things go from here. It's not about forgetting the past or you know, by not making an excuse, you take responsibility for what is happening. And now that you are responsible for what happened, you're also responsible for what's about to happen. And that gives you freedom and power and control over your life. Own it.
Because as you have said many, many times, as we are in our 154th episode, you control you.
Boom.
Nobody else controls you, but you do control you. I control me. You control you. And no excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses.
That's good.
Do it now. No excuses.
Do it now. That's how we get mentally tough.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. That's the
That
mic.
is something to grab a hold of and run with it. That's good. No excuses.
Sip it.
So whatever excuse you're making right now that you've been making for a while is done.
Sip it. Shut up.
It is done. It is done.
Accept it. You're a quitter. You're a failure.
Not anymore. I'm not. Today is the day the quitter gets kicked out.
Thank you guys for tuning in this week.
Have an awesome week.
We'll catch you next week.